Hello everyone and welcome to my The Young and the Restless official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Young and the Restless recap for Friday, February 27th indicates that Matt Clark will text Nick Newman and reveal what it'll take to protect Noah Newman. Phyllis Summers will also have a proposal for Lauren Fenmore Baldwin to mull over. So let's talk about what's ahead on Y&R. At Chancellor, Sally Spectra will stop by and let Billy know she's hired Audra Charles as her co-CEO. After Sally says the name of the company is now Spectra Charles Media, Billy will be thrown before deciding he understands. Billy won't see why their personal relationship has to end because of a professional disagreement, so he'll push Sally to have dinner with him. Sally will resist the idea, so Billy will suggest it could be a goodbye dinner if she's determined to stand her ground. After Sally agrees, she'll fill Audra in on the news later. Sally will act like she just wants to be civil with Billy and end the relationship on a good note. But Audra will worry Billy will convince Sally to get back together. Even if that doesn't happen, Audra will point out that Billy may not take no for an answer. That could turn this civil breakup into a contentious one, but Audra won't be able to talk Sally out of moving ahead with this dinner. At Newman Enterprises, Lauren will surprise Phyllis when she shows up to praise her for undermining Victor Newman and offer her congratulations. Phyllis will suspect there's a catch, but Lauren will make it clear that she's being genuine here. That said, Lauren will suspect Phyllis has a little remorse over what she's done since it's hurting Nick and Summer Newman. Phyllis will continue to defend her actions, but Lauren will suggest she could be a sympathetic ear over a celebratory breakfast. At the GCIC, Billy will stop by Lauren and Phyllis's table. Lauren will assume Phyllis didn't hand Billy Chancellor out of the goodness of her heart, but he'll act like it wouldn't take much to convince him to go up against Victor. Once Billy struts off, Phyllis will ultimately push Lauren to come work for her. Lauren will be flattered, but she'll insist she's content where she is now. Phyllis will think Lauren may just be complacent instead, so she'll play up this new adventure and push Lauren to at least think about joining her at Newman Enterprises. At Crimson Lights, Victoria Newman and Sharon Newman will worry about Nick perhaps becoming too dependent on his painkillers. Sharon and Victoria will also discuss Matt being on the loose and how that's going to be Nick's focus, so there's no chance of him going with Victoria to Milan on a summer mission. Outside, Nick will struggle with pain as he gazes at the fentanyl bag. After Nick takes a pill out, he'll throw it on the ground and try to resist. However, Nick's pain will ultimately win out, so he'll pick the pill up from the snow and gulp it down with some water. Next, Nick will join Sharon and Victoria inside. Once some texts come in from Matt, he'll make it clear to Nick that he wants $5 million to get rid of him for good and ensure that he leaves Noah alone. Nick will give Sharon and Victoria that information, so they'll realize they need to set a trap to lure Matt out of hiding. Once Nick comes up with an idea, he'll suggest Matt won't be able to resist it. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Nick's risky strategy won't go according to plan, so stay tuned. The tension begins to coil tightly around Nick Newman, who finds himself staring down two relentless enemies, one visible, one hidden deep within himself. Somewhere out there, Matt Clark is still on the run, and this time he makes his presence chillingly clear. A message hits Nick's phone, cold and calculated. Matt doesn't threaten, he negotiates. $5 million. That's the price he names to disappear forever, and to promise he'll never go near Noah Newman again. The number hangs heavy in the air, not just as a demand, but as a test. How far will Nick go to protect his son? Across town at Chancellor, a different kind of shockwave hits. Sally Spectra steps into Billy Abbott's world with news he never saw coming. Calm but resolute, she tells him she's made a bold move. She's hired Audra Charles as her co-CEO. The company now has a new name, a new vision, and a new power structure. Spectra Charles Media. Billy is visibly rattled, the words landing like a punch to the chest. After a beat, he forces himself to accept it. But acceptance doesn't mean surrender. What he can't accept is the idea that a business decision has to erase what they shared. He presses Sally, pushing past the professional divide, asking her to have dinner with him. Sally resists, clearly torn, But Billy reframes it, not as hope, but as closure. A goodbye dinner, one last moment before the door closes for good. Reluctantly, Sally agrees. Later, she confides in Audra, framing the dinner as nothing more than a civil ending, clean, respectful, and final. But Audra's instincts flare. She knows Billy. She knows how hard he pushes, how rarely he hears the word no. Even if reconciliation doesn't happen, Audra warns, Billy may not let this end quietly. What Sally wants to be peaceful could spiral into something bitter and confrontational. Still, Sally moves forward, unable or unwilling to turn back now. At Newman Enterprises, the atmosphere shifts again when Lauren Fenmore Baldwin surprises Phyllis Summers with an unexpected visit. Even more unexpected praise. Lauren congratulates Phyllis for successfully undermining Victor Newman, a rare acknowledgement that lands with weight. Phyllis immediately smells a trap. Compliments don't come freely in Genoa City, but Lauren insists this time she's being genuine. Still, she gently probes beneath the surface, suggesting that Phyllis might be carrying a trace of remorse, knowing her actions have hurt both Nick and Summer Newman. Phyllis doesn't back down. She defends every move she's made, but Lauren offers something unexpected, understanding. She suggests a celebratory breakfast, one part congratulations, one part confession. That breakfast takes place at the GCAC, where the mood is warm, until Billy arrives. Sliding into the moment with his usual swagger, he banters effortlessly. Lauren quickly clocks the situation, guessing Phyllis didn't hand Billy Chancellor out of pure generosity. Billy doesn't deny it. In fact, he makes it clear it wouldn't take much convincing for him to stand up against Victor. Once Billy struts away, Phyllis makes her move. She pushes Lauren to consider coming to work for her. A bold invitation, a new adventure. Lauren is flattered but firm. She says she's content where she is. Phyllis isn't convinced. She frames comfort as complacency, painting a vivid picture of opportunity, risk, and reinvention. She urges Lauren not to decide now, but to think about it. The seed is planted. Meanwhile, at Crimson Lights, concern simmers just below the surface. Victoria Newman and Sharon Newman share quiet but urgent worries. Nick's painkillers, his injuries, his isolation, they fear he may be leaning on the medication too heavily, but they know confronting him now could push him further away. They also discuss Matt still being on the loose, realizing this threat will consume Nick completely. Any hope of him traveling with Victoria to Milan on a mission involving Summer vanishes instantly. Nick's world has narrowed to one goal: protecting his family. Outside, alone in the cold, Nick stares at the fentanyl bag. His pain pulses, physical, emotional, relentless. He pulls out a pill, then stops. For a moment, strength wins. He throws it into the snow, but the pain comes roaring back. With shaking resolve, Nick retrieves the pill from the ground and swallows it with water. Defeat and necessity blurring into one. Moments later, he rejoins Sharon and Victoria inside, just as Matt's messages arrive. Nick reveals the demand: $5 million, protection for Noha, finality. The realization hits all three at once. This isn't just extortion, it's bait. And Nick has an idea. He believes Matt won't be able to resist it. A plan begins to form, dangerous, calculated, and deeply personal. But as the spoilers warn, this risky strategy won't unfold the way Nick expects, and when it fails, the fallout could be devastating. As alliances shift, emotions fracture, and danger closes in, the young and the restless barrels toward a collision no one may be able to stop. Stay tuned. The tension doesn't ease, it tightens. Night settles over Genoa City like a warning, and the choices made today begin to echo with dangerous consequences. Nick Newman can feel it in his bones. Whatever move he makes next, there's no turning back. Alone with his thoughts, Nick stares at his phone again, rereading Matt Clark's message. $5 million, a promise of safety, a threat disguised as a deal. On the surface, it sounds simple, but Nick knows better. Matt doesn't just want money. He wants control. He wants leverage. And most of all, he wants Nick to react. That's when the plan fully takes shape. Nick decides he won't run, won't stall, and won't beg. Instead, he'll do what Matt never expects. He'll make it look like he's ready to pay, ready to cooperate, ready to walk straight into the trap Matt thinks he is setting. But in truth, Nick is preparing one of his own. Back at Crimson Lights, Sharon Newman and Victoria Newman feel the shift in him the moment he explains the idea. Nick speaks calmly, confidently, but there's an edge beneath it, a recklessness born from pain, fear, and desperation. Sharon's heart sinks. She hears it in his voice, the same tone he uses when he's already decided and no one can talk him out of it. Victoria pushes back harder, pointing out how unstable Matt is, how dangerous it would be to draw him out directly. But Nick won't budge. He insists Matt won't be able to resist what he's offering. The money, the illusion of victory, the chance to finally win against a Newman. Reluctantly, they agree to help, but neither woman can shake the feeling that this is spiraling too fast. Elsewhere, emotions are unraveling just as quietly and just as dangerously. At home, Sally Spectre prepares for dinner with Billy Abbott, trying to convince herself this is closure and nothing more. She tells herself it's about respect, about ending things cleanly, but the truth is heavier. Every memory presses in. The laughter, the passion, the fights, the dreams they once shared, and somewhere deep down, Sally knows Billy isn't coming to say goodbye. He's coming to fight. Across town, Audra Charles can't shake her unease. She replays Sally's words again and again, sensing that this dinner may reopen wounds that were never fully healed. Billy doesn't lose gracefully, and if he feels replaced, professionally or personally, he's capable of turning that hurt into something explosive. Meanwhile, the ripples of Phyllis Summers' ambition continue to spread. Her conversation with Lauren Fenmore Baldwin lingers long after breakfast ends. Lauren walks away telling herself she's happy, settled, fulfilled, but Phyllis's words echo in her mind. Comfort isn't the same as growth, and once that thought takes hold, it refuses to let go. As night deepens, Nick makes the first move. A message goes out, carefully worded, deliberately tempting. He lets Matt believe the money is real, that the fear is real, that the upper hand has finally shifted. And somewhere in the shadows, Matt smiles, because he takes the bait. But what Nick doesn't see, what no one sees yet, is that Matt has plans of his own. Plans that don't involve playing by the rules or keeping promises. The setup is in motion, the trap is set, and as the spoilers warn, Nick's risky strategy will not unfold the way he expects. When it all goes wrong, the cost may be far greater than $5 million. It may cost him everything. The night presses in tighter now, quiet, heavy, expectant, like the final moments before a storm breaks. In a dimly lit room, Nick Newman waits. Every second stretches longer than the last as he keeps his eyes locked on his phone, willing it to stay silent and buzz at the same time. His body aches, the painkillers barely holding the edge at bay, but it's the fear that truly gnaws at him, the fear that one wrong move could put Noha Newman directly in harm's way. When the message finally comes, it's brief, cold, confident. Matt Clark is ready. Nick exhales slowly, steadying himself. This is it, the point of no return. Nearby, Sharon Newman watches Nick from across the room, sensing the shift before he even speaks. She knows that look, the one that says he's bracing himself for impact. Her instinct is to reach for him, to ground him, to remind him he's not alone in this. But she hesitates. Because deep down, Sharon fears that Nick has already accepted whatever price this plan may demand. Victoria Newman isn't as quiet. She paces, tension etched into every movement, warning Nick again that Matt thrives on chaos, that men like him don't disappear just because they're paid. They escalate, they retaliate, they punish. Nick listens, but his resolve doesn't waver. I can't let him anywhere near my family, he says quietly. And that's when Victoria realizes the truth. Nick isn't trying to win. He's trying to end this, no matter the cost. Across town, another emotional collision is brewing. At dinner, Billy Abbott leans forward, his charm sharpened by desperation. He talks about timing, about misunderstandings, about how business decisions don't have to define personal endings. Every word is carefully chosen, every glance heavy with unspoken history. Sally Spectre listens, her heart pulled in opposite directions. She came here for closure, but Billy keeps reopening doors she's trying to close. He questions her choices, not directly but subtly hinting that she's letting fear dictate her future. Sally pushes back, insisting she knows exactly what she wants. But Billy isn't convinced. And as the tension simmers between them, it becomes clear. This dinner isn't an ending. It's a spark. Elsewhere, Audra Charles can't sleep. Her instincts scream that something is about to break, and when it does, Sally may be standing right in the path of the fallout. Audra knows ambition, knows power struggles, knows men who don't handle rejection well. And Billy Abbott is all three wrapped into one unpredictable force. Meanwhile, Phyllis Summers sits alone, replaying her conversation with Lauren Fenmore Baldwin in her mind. She knows she struck a nerve. She wanted to, because Phyllis doesn't just make offers. She plants ideas that grow whether people want them to or not. Lauren told herself she was content, but contentment has a way of cracking when ambition comes knocking. Back with Nick, the plan begins to unravel in ways no one anticipated. Matt pushes for more assurance, more control, subtle changes to the deal, small red flags that add up too quickly. Nick feels it, the shift in power, the moment when confidence slips and danger surges forward. This isn't going the way he envisioned, and yet he presses on, because pulling back now would mean admitting he miscalculated, and Nick Newman has never been good at retreat. As the episode barrels toward its final moments, every storyline tightens like a drawn wire, ready to snap. Nick Campbell edges closer to disaster. Billy's unresolved emotions threaten to explode. Sally stands at a crossroads she may not fully see yet. Phyllis's ambition continues to ripple outward. And somewhere in the darkness, Matt Clark waits, smiling, patient, and far more dangerous than anyone realizes. Because when this plan finally collapses, it won't just fail, it will detonate, and the fallout is coming next.